What up, what up, what up? Welcome back to another episode of Sip the Tally Films. I'm your host, Coach Evans, and today I'm bringing you my top 10 offensive lineman video. But before we get started, let's make sure everybody's here. Make sure you can hear me well. So let me get a thumbs up in the chat box if you can hear me well. If not, I can adjust these mic settings and whatnot. So let me get a thumbs up in the chat box if you can hear me okay. Let me get those thumbs up rolling, They look good on my end, but let me make sure everybody's good. What up, Osmond? What up, Jose? What up, Ravenville? What up, Bazel? I appreciate you guys for coming through. I appreciate it. So once we get those rolling and I know we good, I know you can hear me well, we'll go ahead and get started. Yeah, we got one from Bazel, we got one from Jose, got one from P. Brown, Malik, Osmond. Appreciate it. All right, so let me lay out how we're going to roll this thing through. So this is what we're going to do. I got some honorable mentions. Then I'll get into my top 10 offensive linemen. So I got some notes on each guy. Well, not the honorable mentions, but I got some notes on each guy in the top 10. And then I also have on the screen what Dane Brugler said about each one in his Beast booklet. And Dane Brugler's Beast booklet, I printed it out, but I can't reach it, so I ain't going to get up. And so those that don't subscribe to the Athletic, I do. And so what I'll do is I'll put what he said about each guy on the screen so you can read it. And for those that don't subscribe, that's a little caveat for watching the stream. But I'll put my notes about each guy. I'll say my notes about each guy. I got it typed out right here. Now I'll say my notes about each guy, and then you'll see what he said about each guy on the screen. So that's what we'll do from there, and we'll kind of go, down the list like that. And so I'm definitely doing this for wide receivers too. I don't know what other group I'm going to do it for, but I'm definitely doing this for wide receivers. If I do it for quarterbacks, it's only going to be 5, because in the past I've done it for quarterbacks. It's only been 5 quarterbacks, but I'm definitely doing it for wide receivers. And I'll see next week how I want to do it for other position groups, but definitely wide receivers, maybe quarterbacks. But if I do it for quarterbacks, it's gonna be 5, and then I'll see next week where we at and where time goes about other position groups. But without further ado, let's go ahead and kind of get started and go into that. And again, I appreciate you guys for coming through, and let's go ahead and fire this thing up. So let's move into this other screen here, and we'll start with our honorable mention. So here's our honorable mention guys right here. And first up on our honorable mention list, make sure we got everything up. Got that emote. Got that up. Got that. Just making sure everything rolling good. All right. So first up is our honorable mention. We got Tyler Guyton, who from Oklahoma, who's a guy that's been mocked to Baltimore a lot. A lot. So why would he be here? a lot of mock drafts saying Tyler Guyton is the guy that we're going to pick at 30. A boatload of. Is he going to be the guy? We don't know. A lot of the top guys will be gone at 30. Tyler Guyton seems to be the guy that a lot of the experts think is going to be there. But as far as my top 10, he just short of my top 10 guys. And again, my top 10 is going to be different from the experts' top 10 because I value things a little different. Like I value movement a little bit more than some other guys. Some guys value arm length and the size and the measurables a little bit more than others. I value things a little bit more different. So my top 10 is gonna be a little bit different than others because I value things a little bit more different than other guys. Not saying I'm right, they're wrong. I just value things a little bit different. Another honorable mention guy is Kingsley Samatea from BYU, a young guy who's really a project, but I think will be a good tackle in the NFL in the long run. But he's really, really, really young right now. Another one is Cooper Beebe, however you say his last name, from Kansas State. Interior guy who's upside is really good. I think he'll be a dominant guard year 2 or 3. He's really, really physical. I like his nastiness. Just outside of my top 10. Patrick Paul, who's a project. He's a project, but I really like his movement skills and the way he's able to run inside and outside zone, which I think we're moving toward in Baltimore. So I like Patrick Paul and the way how athletic he looks on tape, and that length he has and the ability to latch on and dominate at his level. And another guy that's honorable mention is Brandon Coleman, who started as a H-back, moved to guard tackle, and can play guard too. Versatility from a guy that, again, is another project, but can be extremely good once he settles in a position and learns all the nuances of that position. And again, I value movement skills. So that's why these guys are honorable mention for me. And my top 10 is going to be a little bit different than other guys, because I value movement skills and how fluently you can move and do different things. Now, strength, arm length, and all that stuff do matter, but movement plays a lot for me. So I just want to keep reiterating that. But so when you see some guys here and there, you don't have this, why is he over this person? So I just want to reiterate that before we get into the top 10. All right. So let's not procrastinate anymore. Let me give me a sip of water and let's go into the top 10. Let's sip of Gatorade. And since we transitioning, if you have not hit that like button, go ahead and do so. Go ahead and do so already. Let's get into the top 10. Number 10, Jordan Morgan. Another guy. Mocked to us a lot. Mocked to the Ravens a ton. These are my notes for Jordan Morgan. As a run blocker, Morgan brings value to both gap and zone schemes. He can explode off the ball and quickly move up to second level of the defense to pick off linebackers if left uncovered. With his strength and foot quickness, Morgan can take the wind and the air out of a pass rush. He's not the easiest offensive tackle to bull rush or attempt to overpower. Grip strength allows him to stay connected to run blocks longer. All right, and as far as Dane Brugler says in his beast thing on the Athletic, Morgan struggles to anchor mid-slide versus power, but he is a well-balanced mover who is well-schooled and physical in all phases. Though he can survive at tackling in the NFL, his skill set projects much better inside at guard like Matthew Bergeron. And that's from Dane Brugler's The Beast, where he did all these, outlooks for all these different projects. And that's why I want to make sure I credit him in each one of these little things right here. So that's Jordan Morgan at number 10. Now, as I go through these, make sure you can put whether you disagree, if he's too high, too low. And as I get further in, that's when you can start saying, like, this guy should be above this guy, this guy's too high, this guy's too low. And I know once we get to number 10, it's kind of hard to say that. All right, let's go to number 9. The number 9 guy. Amarius Mims. My notes for Amarius Mims. He uses a two-hand punch that causes him to lunge forward a bit, but that could be correctable, or it should be correctable. It is very rare to see him clearly beaten by a rusher, and he has the recovery talent to do something about that when it happens. Mims has more development to go, but he's a day one prospect with the traits and the talent to be considered at either tackle position, left or right tackle. He has a high ceiling, but questions due to his lack of experience could temper early expectations. And remember, Mims don't have very many starts at Georgia. I think he have like 5 or 6 starts at Georgia, if that. But when he did play, boy, did he play. Mims possesses the foot speed and quickness to pop out of his stance and pass pro. He will meet edge defenders at the apex of their rush to quickly take the air out of their sets. In the run game, Mims can quickly explode off the ball to reach defensive linemen and further gaps. When his hands are engaged, he can control the rep and overpower his defenders, and his power is overwhelming. That last statement is the key. His power, thank you, Blitzbacker, 8 starts. His power is overwhelming. Like, look, like, when This dude will win the get off the bus award. When you see him get off the bus and you be like, I don't want to play against them today. Nope. But the thing is, he just hasn't played enough to like if he had 20 starts, if he had 20 starts, I guarantee you he'd be at the top of everybody's draft board. Like like up there with the quarterbacks. If he had 20 starts instead of 8. I guarantee you that. And I think everybody in the chat would probably kind of agree with me. If he had 20 starts, he'd be at the top of everybody's draft board and not questioning his experience. But he only got 8. So it's, you got to take what you give him, And I understand why he coming on out, because he probably need to come on out and do, ain't no well, I don't know that. I'm assuming. I'm going to back up off that. I'm assuming. I'm acting like ESPN. I'm assuming. Let's go to number 8. Christian Haynes. Oh, my bad. I didn't read what Dane Brugler said about it. My bad. Let me go back. This is what Dane Brugler said about Mims. I'm sorry, my bad. Mims isn't far along fundamentally, especially in the run game, as other tackles in his class, but he's a natural in the pass protection with above average length. Footwork and body twitch to handle different types of edge rushers. Though there is a projection involved with his draft grade, his best football is ahead of him, and he has the talent to become a long-term starter at left or right tackle. And that's what Dane said about Amarius Mims. Now let's go to Christian. Christian Haynes. Number 8, Christian Haynes from UConn. These are my notes for him. He excels in wide zone blocking schemes. And you can see why I like him, because inside, outside zone, that's what I think is the bread and butter for us now. That's where I think we should go. That's my 2 cents, though. He excels in wide zone blocking schemes, demonstrates a seamless ability to cut off backside defenders, engage linebackers at the second level, and effectively handle anything in front of him as a play side blocker. When evaluating him as an athlete, it is impossible to overlook his power and explosiveness. He thrives on taking the fight to his defenders and stands out as one of the quicker interior linemen in this class. And remember, I value movement. Remember that now. When you're looking back on this, people that's watching it not live, I value movement. That's why he is where he is. A 4-year starter and a team captain who is 30 at the point of attack, Haynes plays with the football intelligence and sees every snap as a mandate to move opponents and finish blocks. That's why Christian has made my top 10 list. And what Dane says about him, Haynes doesn't always play up to his testing numbers, but his play strength, football IQ, and finishing mentality makes him equipped for a battle against NFL fronts. He has the floor of a high-level backup, but should compete for starting reps at guard during his rookie season, like Kevin Dotson. All right, that's number 8, Christian Haynes from UConn. Let's go to number 7. Graham Barton from Duke. Good old Dukies. All right, what I have for Barton is an explosive drive blocker with the body control and leg drive to keep opponents centered and finish the job. His hands are sudden, accurate, and strong in both phases, but the lack of strength will create occasional challenges on the next level. What immediately stands out is his core strength. This allows him to stay core throughout his progression as a blocker and greatly contributes to his ability to brace against defenders. He plays with good foot repetition, reactivity, and shows good foundation of hand usage and strike confidence, but both are in need of improvement at the next level. The passing game is where Barton can make most improvements to his game. So Barton is more of a run blocker. He can get better in the passing game, but he's more of a run blocker. Now, he's an interior guy. He played tackle, but he's an interior guy. Brugler has him listed as a center. Most people have him playing guard, but he played tackle at Duke. And this is what Brugler has for him. Barton will have to make adjustments. Well, will have adjustments to make as he moves inside. But he has athletic feet and strong hands and works hard to stay attached to blocks through the whistle. He projects as an above-average NFL starter at guard or center. Reminiscent of Elijah Vera Tucker, and that's from Dane Brugler. All right, number 6. What up, BRB? Appreciate you for joining. Matter of fact, let me shout a few people out. BRB, appreciate you for joining. Appreciate you. See who else we got. Quinn, appreciate you for joining. Jesus Christ, appreciate you. Pete Brown, Blitzbacker, appreciate it. Daniel Berry. See about I miss Blackula, appreciate it. Big Reg, appreciate it. Killer Cam, Zane B. See Iron, appreciate you guys. Appreciate it. All right. Let's move on from Graham to number 6. Number 6 on the list. Olu Fashanu. Now, this is in a lot of people's O-line list. He's 1 or 2. A lot of people O-line list. He's 1 or 2. Just not mine. And these are the notes I have for Fashanu. He has shown lateral agility to react to defenders, counter moves, and retrace his steps to close the distance. Fashanu has a mixed bag of moves and can overwhelm defenders at times if he chooses to quickly set and squeeze the rush by getting on top of them and utilizing his mass and length in an attempt to win quickly as a run blocker. Fashanu showcases best when he can use his athleticism to execute reach blocks, work in the second level, and as a puller to get into space with the body control to locate defenders. There's still room to get bigger and stronger, but he's already playing with good focus and drive to run block. Issues with footwork and landmarks can be corrected with more coaching. He's long and really effective and is really effective with recovery. And he has the agility to help keep his quarterback clean. But inconsistent pass slides and excessive leaning can make things harder for him than they need to be early in his career. And what Brugler has for him, Fashanu, is a work in progress as a run blocker, but above average in pass pro because of his body quickness, anchor versus power, and attention to detail. He projects as a long-term starting left tackle in the NFL with Pro Bowl upside. So this is most people's number 1 or 2. He's number 6 on my list. And this is Olu Fashanu. And Olu is short. He has a longer first name, but we're going to stick with Olu. And he's from Penn State. Jose says, whoever is there when we pick is my number 1. All right, let's go with number 5. Excuse me. Wazam. Laid back short. Wazam. Number 5, Joe Alt. Joe Alt. From Notre Dame. All right, this is what I have for Alt. Alt is a capable drive blocker with the foot quickness to play onto the second level. He struggles to bend enough to compensate for his height and ends up playing with waist bending and a forward lean that can hamper his anchor against bull rushers. And just in case you don't know, Joe Alt is like 7'11", if you didn't know. And I'm joking. Joe Alt, I think he's like 6'9", to be honest. He used to be a tight end. Joe Alt's like 6'9". He's not 7'11". I was bull jiving. He like 6'9" though. His basketball and tight end background shows up in his movement skills and his lateral agility. He has light and nimble feet to move laterally and effectively. Alt is more effective as a wash down blocker using his defender's momentum against them at the line of scrimmage. He's a good double team tandem blocker in the run game. Alt uses diagonal pass sets to meet steep angle rushers at the top of apex of their rush. So he like cutting off them wide nines because he got good feet. He had really good feet. He cut off those wide nines, but he really don't like those guys that try to get inside of him and get up in his chest too fast. But those guys that like to get real wide and try to speed rush, he cut them off because he's just as fast as them. Alt does a good job of using his feet to stop forward momentum and anchoring down. And what Brugler says about Alt is Alt stays light on his feet with the big man agility, body control, and instinctive recovery skills to become a high-level run blocker and above-average pass protector very early in his NFL career. He projects as a first-year scheme versatile starter with the pedigree to be a cornerstone player for an NFL franchise. He is Jake Matthews and Nate Solder's body. And that's high praise right there because that's 2 really good NFL players. Jake Matthews and Nate Solder's body. If you know those 2 guys, that's 2 really good NFL players right there. Really good NFL players. Now, as far as Joe Alt's fit for the Ravens, I don't think he fits where we're headed. But I think Joe Alt's going to be a really, really, really good football player. Really good football player. All right, let's go to number 4. Jackson Powers Johnson. Now, this is where people that see this are going to be like, why in the heck is Jackson Powers Johnson so high up on this list? Keep in mind, I value movement and dog mentality. And this is the first time I mentioned dog mentality. And if you go back and watch any of his games or any of his highlights, dog mentality is embodied in this kid. Like, he's a finisher. Like, you know, they always they had these sayings like, who would you want to take in an alley with you and fight? Bring me this dude. Bring this dude with me, and we going in the alley, and we coming out. We coming out. But as far as the notes I got for Jackson Powers Johnson, in the run game, JPJ flashes excellent athleticism and excels in a zone-based running scheme. And again, zone-based running scheme, because I'm thinking of Ravens type stuff as far as what we do better. And in my mind, I'm thinking, if for some kind of way we could get this dude, move him to guard, and put him beside Linderbaum, oh, what a glorious time it would be. He works very well laterally and is outstanding with his footwork and angles to create gaps for his running back. He displays good power overall and will drive his defenders back when he gets a hat on a hat. So if you can go find a clip of him getting one-on-one versus a interior defensive lineman, or better yet, a linebacker, thing of beauty. Thing of beauty. Powers Johnson has a relentless motor and plays with the type of physicality you want in an offensive lineman, consistently playing through the whistle. I would go as far as saying playing through the echo of the whistle. Through the echo of the whistle. In the passing game, Powers Johnson shows an above average anchor to stymie bull rushers. He lacks length and will allow defenders to get in his chest plate at times because he got the shorter arms, and you can't be perfect. What you excel in some places, you're gonna have shortcomings in others. So, you know, you're gonna have to take the good with the bad with some of these guys. He lacks length and allows defenders to get into his chest plate at times. Despite average athleticism, he doesn't seem to have many issues in pass pro, as he works with clear eyes and a wide base and good discipline to keep his weight back. So if you go in there and you think you're gonna bull rush him because of, you know, your longer arms or your power, nope, not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. This dude will, he'll beat you up. I just feel like that. He'll beat you up. What Dane Brugler says about him, Powers Johnson's inexperience is reflected in his technique, but offers a fantastic combination of size, athleticism, and toughness with a skill set that translates at both center and guard. His game reminds me of Ryan Kelly, who won the Remington Award at Alabama before becoming a first-round pick in 2016. And, you know, for those that don't know, and me and Chris talked about this when we did our O-line thing, I don't know if it was his freshman or sophomore year, he got some reps at defensive tackle too. If you don't know, like his freshman or sophomore year, JPJ got some reps at defensive tackle. So that tells you what kind of kid he is. He got some reps at defensive tackle for Oregon. That about that fighting stuff, that tells you what kind of kid he is. All right, top three. J.C. Latham. All right, what I got for Latham? Latham's body is girthy and has elite drive blocking talent. His pass sets are well balanced with a good initial quickness and active hands. Latham shows great quickness and athleticism in how quickly he can get depth in his pass set. He's able to beat defenders to the top of the arc and is ready to engage with them. Latham has great tempo and cadence in his pass sets, being able to keep leverage on defenders and preventing them from taking an inside rush track. So what that means is he has good tempo when he's kick sliding, but when those guys try to redirect and go inside, he's able to plant that foot and punish them on the inside as well. So they can't set him up and then try to get inside of him without him finishing them inside as well. Where was I? In the run game, Latham showcases good athletic ability and how he can effectively block defenders in the zone run game. Again, another zone blocker, which is I keep saying that I think that's where we're headed. I think that's what we're going to be good at. But that's kind of another thing that played into where I put some guys too. Latham consistently showcases the ability to reach block defenders and also seal off the backside of runs. On inside zone runs, Latham can effectively work double teams and climb to the second level, controlling and placing an effective play side block. So, and that's what Brugler has for him. Latham needs to clean up his inconsistent yet flexible habits, but he offers elite play strength and functional football movements to stay square and overmatch his opponents. He is an ascending prospect with the talent to win a starting right tackle job as an NFL rookie, although some project him best inside as a guard. So I see a lot of these top guys, you know, if they're not for sure being projected as a left tackle, they saying, hey, just throw him inside the guard. But I think a lot of the, you know, if they're right tackles, let them be right tackles. You don't have to be a left tackle. And if you're not a left tackle, you don't just automatically throw him at guard. If you're good at right tackle, play right tackle. And like we always talk about Ben Cleveland, you know, like for some reason he can't play left guard, but maybe he's just a right tackle. So if that's the case with Ben Cleveland, let some of these other people be dominantly on a right side. So don't if it's good for the goose, it need to be good for the gander. So if he's a right tackle, just let him play right tackle. If he's a left tackle and he can't play on the right side, let him play the left tackle. Don't just automatically throw him to guard because you can't project what they're gonna do on one side. If it's going to be good for one kind of person, let it be good for the other kind of person. That's what I'm starting to see. All right, number 2. My personal favorite, Troy Fautanu. Troy Fautanu. It was hard for me not to put him number 1. It was really hard. Really hard. But he's not number 1. He's not number 1. Even though he was on the cover, he was on the thumbnail, and he was in the picture, it was hard for me not to put him number 1. He has heavy, strong hands to halt defenders in their tracks. Fautanu does a good job of running his feet to drive and displace defenders in a power run game. Fautanu gets out of his stance with the quickness needed to take the wind out of the defender's pass rush. An impressive lateral agility to mirror rushers without surrendering leverage. He possesses quick and nimble feet. He's capable of getting the reach blocks in zone. There's that theme again. And chaperoning running backs wide as a pulling guard to the next level. He's a pop and reset pass puncher who has active hands and feet to help extend mirroring and forcing linemen forcing linemen to retreat. So what I like about Fautanu is not only does he do work from tackle to tackle, when he gets in space, he shines as well. So if you throw screens or if you do a lot of outside zone stuff where the linemen have to block smaller guys, he don't miss. He get out in space and he destroys strong safeties. He destroys cornerbacks. They don't get out there and fake him out and he just out there looking crazy. He gets out there in space, square him up, and he finished those guys. But what I like about what Brugler says about him is, I'm gonna read it right here. Fautanu is explosive on the move, at contact with the foot quickness, body control, and temperament to stack wins in both pass protection and as a run blocker in NFL. While he has the talent to remain at tackle, his skill set also projects well to guard and center, as he offers legitimate 5-position potential at the next level. I've never seen that said about talent. I've never seen that said about talent. All right, Zane, I got you 1 second. I've never seen that said about talent. Basically, what Dane is saying is he can excel at either tackle position, either guard position, and at center. Now, keep in mind, and Chris brought this up too when we were on stream, he plays left tackle for Oregon. For Washington. But technically, he's the right tackle for Washington because Mike Penix is left-handed. So if you want to do a little, do a little homework on it. So technically, Roger Rosenthal is the left tackle for Washington because Mike Penix is left-handed. So you really got to flip it. So Troy is really the right tackle. Roger Rosenthal is really the left tackle for Washington. And Rosenthal is not bad either. It's not bad either. All right, so let me see. Zane just, I think, is it Zane? Zane just put a question and he says, can you explain gap versus zone to me like it's 5 years old? So, all right, so, and it's not hard. It's just different plays. So it's two types of zone plays. It's outside zone and it's inside zone. And so on inside zone, I'm gonna do it quick. The offensive linemen are taking basically 45-degree steps and they're blocking an area. And whoever shows up in that area, that's what they block. They don't have a certain man. Their offensive linemen pretty much are taking the same steps and they're blocking that area. And whichever defensive person show up in that area, that's who they're blocking. And then on outside zone, they're taking more of a lateral step, but still, that first step is lateral. Then that back foot is more of a 45-degree step, and they're working lateral then vertical, but they're still blocking whoever shows up. That's zone blocking. Gap schemes is like if they're running the gap scheme to the right, that means the right side are all blocking a gap down the opposite direction. So the center, so they're running the gap play to the right. The center, the right guard, and the right tackle all blocking the gap back down. Just to say if it's counter. They're blocking the gap down. The left guard and the left tackle will be pulling the other way. So that basically means they're blocking the gap down and the other guys are pulling. That's I can't reach it. I can't reach it up, Pinellas. It's way over there. I have to get up. But I'll throw something up on matter of fact, Zane, I tell you what you can do. I have a playlist on my channel where me and Michael Crawford are starting to put all of the Ravens plays together. Mike has been doing the gap plays. I've been doing the zone plays. So Mike has been doing counter and power. I've been doing inside zone. I haven't made it to outside zone. So if you go on my channel on the homepage and you go to playlist, I think it's called Ravens Playlist. And so you'll see the stuff that I've been doing. Like I did one today on inside zone. All the inside zone stuff I've done. And I've from Deep Cover Podcast, that's Michael Crawford, Kerry, Stevens, and Chris just joking. But Michael Crawford has been doing the gap plays. So if you look at that playlist, you'll see the stuff I've did and the stuff from Deep Cover Podcast. You'll see inside zone and you'll see I think counter or power. But the counter or power is the gap plays. The inside zone stuff is his own stuff. So check them out and you'll kind of get an idea of which one's which. Now, it ain't no talking on it. It's just the plays that the Ravens run. They link together and whatnot. And I'll be adding stuff to that every day. And I think he's going to be adding stuff to it like once or twice a week. But, it eventually get full. All right. Number one. Who y'all think number one is? Who you think number one? Who y'all think is number one? Who y'all think is number one? Let's see. Let's see if anybody. I'm sure y'all gonna get it. But this is the guy. This is the guy. That is him. That is him. Tallahassee Fuaga. And my notes for Tallahassee: plays with a fairly aggressive disposition. The pass protection technique is outstanding, and he possesses the athleticism to mirror and match edge-to-edge rush movement. Fuaga's handwork is exceptional in pass pro and will need to remain so because his lack of desired range for recovering when beaten. Excuse me. He displays the burst to reach and cut off blockers in zone concepts. Again, zone concepts right there. Fuaga has heavy hands and can stun defenders and stymie their momentum once he's latched on. He is a good climb blocker to the second level and into space. His lateral movement is efficient and effective to close the defender's access points to the backfield. Fuaga will meet defenders at the apex of their rush with good posture and patience. His punch timing is sufficient and mixes ghost punches to throw off the timing of the defender's rush. The one person, this is the one person that somewhat controlled Latu this year. And if you don't know who Latu is, that's the rusher from UCLA that gave everybody fits but Fuaga. He gave everybody fits but Fuaga. This is what Dane says about Fuaga. Fuaga has only average play range and can be dinged here and there for minor flaws. But he has the size, core strength, and balance to be a plug-and-play starter in NFL, reminiscent of Taylor Decker. Some teams view him as the best inside at guard, while others want to keep him at right tackle. Duke Manyweather compares him to Mike Lupati, and that's from Dane Brugler. Now, this one I kind of disagree on. I think he's the best offensive lineman in this draft. I personally do. Why why they have him low like that, I personally don't know. But I value movement. Other people value things a little bit higher. But this is the full. Let me get you the full list right here. This is the full list. Get this off. Oh, maybe if I do that, and then do this, and then bring this back over here, then pop this up, and make that go away. Then bring this back. Hit that button. Oh, nope. That's an empty screen. But here we go. Where'd it go? There it go. But that was supposed to be. I guess I messed it up. That's what happened when you do it live. We'll get it back up there in a minute. We'll get you the full list up here with all 10 names on it. Get this off, because that don't supposed to be there. I had it just a minute ago. 1 second. Bear with me. Glad I didn't close this. Here we go. There it is. Now we in business. There it is. All right, whole list right there. Jordan Morgan at 10. Amaris Mims at 9. Christian Haynes at 8. Graham Barton at 7. Olu Fashanu at 6. Joe Alt at 5. Jackson Powers Johnson at 4. J.C. Latham at 3. Troy Fatnu at 2. And Talisi Fuaga at 1. So if you are watching the replay, tell me what you think. Fairly accurate. Tell me who's too high, who's too low. Put it in the chat box right now. Is it fairly accurate? What you think? I appreciate everybody's feedback. And we're doing the bracket show tonight on Deep Cover Podcast. So if you don't follow them, make sure you go check it out. It's Deep Cover Podcast. So go to YouTube and search Deep Cover Podcast. The thumb for them is dark. It's dark with Deep Cover Podcast. So if you don't follow them already, please go do that. We're doing a bracket show. It's really fun, and that's where we got a bracket style like the NCAA bracket, where we try to pick who the Ravens gonna draft. I don't know if we're gonna be live, but I know we recorded tonight. So make sure you check that out. And that's all I got for you, man. That's my top 10. And again, I'm definitely doing receivers. Probably gonna do quarterbacks. And I appreciate everybody for coming out, man. If you have not hit that like button, please do so. And I'll see y'all soon, man. Share this on your socials. Peace, 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 peace. I appreciate y'all, man. Y'all been good to me. Jose, you can go back to your nap now, Jose. Uh, San Mateo was an honorable mention. Mike Dorsey, Calvin BYU, Kingsley San Mateo was an honorable mention for me, and I can't pronounce the kid's name from Yale, but he's okay. He's okay. He's okay. He didn't make my top 10, and he wasn't an honorable mention, but he all right. Yeah, he's a I think he's a late a late third rounder or early day 3 guy.